So Nervos is another base layer technology. The best way that I can explain it is that it's very similar to Ethereum, but it's under the hood, it is remarkably different. What they did was they kind of had to re-engineer everything because we had a lot of lessons learned in Ethereum and in Bitcoin for that matter. And we hit some dead ends. Like Ethereum has some very bad scaling issues right now. And it's resulting in fees that are just unbelievably high. Like for example, I was talking to somebody else in the community recently, and he had a single transaction during a busy period where I think he said it cost him about $90 in transaction fees for one transaction, just to move some coins around. And unfortunately, he had to pay it because he needed it moved immediately. This kind of congestion will kill most projects. If you had any type of a game or something built on Ethereum, nobody's using it anymore, right? These fees are just absolutely murdering it. And so let's take a step back though. Like, why does Ethereum exist? Ethereum existed because you couldn't do things on Bitcoin. Vitalik actually tried to build Ethereum on Bitcoin. That was his original vision. He just wanted to build a scripting system, but he found out that it was too difficult to do that. There was too much politics involved, and also just the way that the chain was designed, it was too difficult. It was much easier approach to start all over again, build an entirely new community and a new chain. And he accomplished a great amount of stuff with that. I mean, Ethereum is fantastic, but now we're hitting the end of the road again, right? There's all these issues about which direction should you go for various things, what's going to help get these fees down, how are we going to accomplish sharding, and what about state rent is a big one. The size of the state is becoming unsustainable, and these are still open questions. Well, the team behind Nervos, some of them were all involved with Bitcoin and Ethereum, the Ethereum core team as well, and they just decided once again they had to start all over again because they found solutions to these problems, but these solutions didn't fit on top of Ethereum. It's really not that they believe that they're in strong competition. It's just they believed that they couldn't accomplish it on top of what was already pre-existing, so they decided to build another chain. So Nervos, to me, is very similar to Ethereum in that it does a lot of similar things today. In the future, the use cases, as they start to really get down to it at a level that we don't see today, where the particulars really matter, we'll probably see some divergence, where one is actually better than the other. But when you look at it today, they do about the same thing. The difference here is the sustainability. The way that Nervos operates is long-term sustainable. You won't see these insane fees come up, and you won't have the rug pulled on you, to speak, when certain changes occur. Like I said, on Ethereum, there's one big problem, which is the state rent, and we don't fully understand how it's going to be accomplished. You can't pay once and store forever, right? That model doesn't work. It's not realistic. And when you talk about Ethereum using the account model, this is a problematic, because a developer, if they have an application that all of a sudden gets 100,000 users, they may have to pay the state rent for all 100,000 users. That could take down their company, right? We don't fully understand what the consequences of these are because they haven't been decided yet. But on Nervos, all of this stuff is clearly mapped out in a way that makes sense, where every user pays for every asset that they possess. So, and they pay for it in a completely transparent way, where they actually pay through targeted inflation that effectively, it takes it out of their balance without them having to do anything automatically. And at the same time, it's targeted only at the users which are consuming space, which means you have the benefits of, for example, Bitcoin with a limited supply cap. You have those same benefits on Nervos, because it's only if you're actually using it to take up space on the state that you actually pay through inflation. Less transaction fees, much more flexibility at the base layer. You're not going to get stuck, having to wait for a hard fork for certain features. They've really thought through a lot of the things that have caused developers dead ends on other platforms, and put it together in this cohesive way that really has the best chance of being sustainable. When we talk about blockchains, we're talking about projects we hope will go for hundreds of years in theory, right? Yeah. Well, when you start looking at the realistic things, you're seeing that after a couple of years, they're already becoming unsustainable, right? Nervos has put a lot of thought into how we could actually accomplish this for a chain that does last decades, possibly centuries.